This is the Barebones Little Bighorn tent. We've obviously done a ton of camping over the years, just like you have since we were little, in all sorts of different kinds of tents. And if you get out a lot camping and you want to kind of upgrade your experience into more of a premium camping experience, you cannot go wrong with one of these guys. They're big, there's plenty of size in these. There's a ton of headroom inside, and we'll go in just a little bit. It's a frame tent. On the roof here we have a very durable sort of a canvas that we put on in addition to the tent itself, okay? It's almost 9 feet at the peak in the center. There are a lot of windows on this thing. One thing that I like in particular about it when we set it up is on the outside of here we have all these flaps that kind of scoop down and away. So we pin all those out all the way around the bottom so rain doesn't have any chance to get inside the tent. The floor is actually a separate piece of material. So you put the tent up, you haul the floor in, and I'll show you in a little bit the way that the floor kind of meets the outer wall of the tent pretty much ensures that you're not going to get wet or deal with anything like that. We were surprised at how quick setup went. I was expecting, first time on something like this, of this size and complexity, maybe hour and a half-ish, maybe even 2 hours, where I was thinking it was going to be just a crazy manual we had to work through. And it wasn't. Me and one other camper had this up in about a half hour. And that was our first time setting it up. So the instructions are very clear and concise. The drawings are done very well. So it's really easy to just kind of piecemeal this thing together and flip up the frame walls. And those all get connected together. It's made well. The joints are made very well. The way that they lock together is very slick, very easy to do. And then the whole tent itself, you just kind of slide it over the top and pull it down, everything gets latched inside of it. So I'm gonna head inside and we'll take a look at kind of how it's set up inside and talk a little bit more about the tent. So you see on the inside of the tent here, we have the framework that's on the inside. I'm not a particularly tall person, so you can't get a real good idea of how tall it is. I'm about 5'6", but it is about 9 feet in the center, almost 9 feet in the center of the tent here at the peak, and plenty of headroom all the way around. I mean, it's so different than your standard kind of dome tent where you're only standing up in the middle. Those are great too, but this all comes down to that group of people that do want to kind of upgrade to a more premium camping experience. If you're going to be doing kind of a multi-night camping trip, something like this is really nice to have. I mean, it feels like you're in a little efficiency apartment out in the middle of nowhere. They're really cool. So, as I was saying, the joints are very well made on these here. Everything snaps together pretty easily when you put the frame together. And then then you just go in and we just do the Velcro, little Velcro piece around the frame. Those are all over the place throughout the tent. And then what I was talking about earlier that I thought is really nice is the way that the floor is set up. So the floor is separate, and the floor, which is nice because that's probably the thing that you would want to wash more than anything else. So after we're done with this weekend here, the tent's dry, we can break it down and then wash just the floor because the tent's fine. So the floor comes in and the edges of the floor slide up underneath the bottom corner of the frame and then latch to the tent, and then you can winch them down. So you have this lip from the floor that goes all the way around, keeps debris out. It's going to helps to keep moisture out, and it just keeps a nice separation from the outer wall and that inner floor where you're at. And yeah, so that is the Barebones Little Bighorn tent. Retails for about $800, but if you start looking around at some of your larger premium family tents, you're not going to be that far off in terms of price. The only thing about it is that it is pretty heavy in terms of storage, which isn't surprising. It's a frame tent. We have all of these poles. It packs down into 2 bags that are quite a bit to lug around. If you are looking for that sort of premium camping experience, you want the little ones to really enjoy it. Maybe you want to do some friends to camping who are not sure about it. It's really fun to set up something like this and give them a really just a really top-of-the-line experience. The tent retails for about $800, but if you start doing some comparison shopping with, you know, some of the other premium brands of tents, your big 8-person dome tents with extra rooms and things like that, you're not going to be that far off in terms of the price point. If you have the space and you have a larger SUV, maybe you got a pull-behind trailer, and you're able to accommodate a tent of this size, hard to go wrong with the Barebones tent.